tree diagram practice with 3 basic sentence types. Right there. We will practice 3 sentences that focus on each of these. You have a noun, a verb, determiner, adjective, noun, kind of like a subject, verb, object kind of a sentence. Then we have a noun plus prepositional phrase plus verb plus determiner plus noun. And then, excuse me, then we have a really short sentence with like 2 words. So this will help you get used to the basic sentence types that you'll need to diagram on our test, our syntax test, and also pragmatics. Take a minute and write down these sentences if you need to. You might want to write down 2 or 3 of them. You'll notice that the first 3 focus on the first sentence type. The next 3 sentences focus on the second sentence type, and then the last 3 focus on that third sentence type. In just a minute, I will show you step by step how to diagram each of these sentences so you can compare the way that you diagram yours to the example diagrams in this video. Remember, practice makes perfect. The first step is to separate the student from completed a difficult project. That separates the noun phrase from the verb phrase. Then you label the parts of speech of each of the words in the sentence as you see here. Then I always like to group the noun phrases together. So we have the student, we have the difficult project. Those are 2 noun phrases. Then I'm going to group the verb and the noun phrase together as a verb phrase, so then I can complete that part of the sentence. Lastly, we have the sentence consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So the noun phrase, the student, the verb phrase, completed the difficult project. You see why I put that line there? So everything after student is all part of the verb phrase. With sentence number 2, the dividing line is right after my friend. So we have my friend, noun phrase, drank a sugary drink is the verb phrase. Then I label the parts of speech of all the words in the sentence. I then group the noun phrases together, my friend and then a sugary drink. To finish off my verb phrase, I group the verb and the noun phrase together to create the verb phrase. And then the sentence consists of a noun phrase, my friend, a verb phrase, drank a sugary drink. Sentence 3, I put the dividing line right after the coach. Then I group my noun phrases together. I then group the verb phrase into the verb congratulated and the noun phrase his skillful students. And I finish the sentence off with the sentence divides into the noun phrase the coach, the verb phrase congratulated his skillful students. Sentence 4, the dividing line. Now this is tricky. Notice how that prepositional phrase is all part of the noun phrase there. So dividing line comes after conference. So the parents at the conference, all of this is the noun phrase. Then I label all the parts of speech. I group my noun phrases together. Now there's a bunch of them in here. You see 3 of them? We have the noun phrase is the... Let me get this where it's more aligned correctly here. Give me a second. Okay, so we have the parents, we have the conference, and we have a new complaint, right? So we have 3. So to build the sentence a little bit more, we can take the verb and the noun phrase together to create the verb phrase here. And then we have the preposition plus the noun phrase creates the prepositional phrase. And then the noun phrase consists of a noun phrase and a prepositional phrase here. So then we can finish the sentence. So we have a sentence breaks up into the noun phrase and the verb phrase. The noun phrase in the beginning, the subject, it breaks into a noun phrase and a prepositional phrase. And the verb phrase, of course, breaks into the verb and the noun phrase. Similarly, the line here comes after store. Why is that? We have the man, And which man? The man at the store. So all of this together becomes the noun phrase right here. So that's why I have my dividing line there. Now, the problem is if you make this one mistake, if you cannot separate the noun phrase from the verb phrase and you begin doing your diagram, it's probably not going to work because it's flawed from the base, from the foundation. Then label the parts of speech of the sentence. Another problem is you need to make sure you recognize these prepositions. If you cannot identify a preposition, it's going to be very hard to do your diagram. It's not going to be correct without identifying that word. Remember, prepositions are anything you can do to a cloud. Excuse me. You can be at the cloud, in the cloud, above it, over it, below it, beneath it. Now, what I'm telling you doesn't work every time, but it helps you to understand the spatial nature of prepositions. So then we identify three, again, we have three noun phrases: the man, the store, a new computer. As we continue, the verb and the noun phrase together becomes the verb phrase, and I can also complete this. A preposition plus a noun phrase creates a prepositional phrase. That's what we're showing here. In this step, I'm going to complete the noun phrase, the subject. So the noun phrase divides into a noun phrase and a prepositional phrase. Finally, the subject breaks into a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So the noun phrase, as we can see in the structure here, it divides into a noun phrase, which is the man, a prepositional phrase at the store. The verb phrase breaks into a verb and a noun phrase. In number 6, the noun phrase ends after park. So we have everyone at the park, that's the noun phrase, and then ate a delicious lunch is the verb phrase. Then you need to label the parts of speech. Group all the noun phrases together. Notice that even a single word can be a noun phrase. So you have everyone, you have the park, and then a delicious lunch. Now we group the verb and the noun phrase together as the verb phrase, and we can complete the preposition in the noun phrase, which is a prepositional phrase. Finally, we have the sentence, which consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. With Susan slept, we got no choice. The dividing line is right after Susan. We label the parts of speech. Then we have a noun phrase and a verb phrase, and we complete the sentence. We have a sentence as a noun phrase, Susan, a verb phrase, slept. Sentence number 8, we have Lana, then we have the dividing line, and then left. Then we label the parts of speech. We have our noun phrase and our verb phrase, and then the sentence divides into the noun phrase and the verb phrase. Sentence number 9, we have Keith, then we draw our dividing line. We label the parts of speech. We have our noun phrase and our verb phrase. And the sentence is the noun phrase Keith, the verb phrase finished.